Deep in the outskirts of a small, forgotten town lies a narrow, winding street known as Whispering Road. Locals speak of it in hushed tones, warning travelers to avoid it at all costs. The road, shrouded in dense trees that seem to lean inward as if guarding a secret, has been the site of countless disappearances over the years. Most dismiss it as coincidence or wild imagination, but those brave enough to venture there tell chilling tales of a malevolent presence. One cold autumn evening, a teenager named Leah and her friends decided to test the legend. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they piled into an old car and headed toward Whispering Road. Leah's best friend Alex was the first to joke about the cursed street. "It's just a creepy road," he said, laughing. "What's the worst that can happen?" The group's laughter faded as they approached the entrance. The temperature seemed to drop and the surrounding woods became eerily quiet. Not a single chirp of a cricket or rustle of leaves. The car headlights barely penetrated the thick darkness ahead, and the shadows seemed to shift unnaturally. About halfway down the road, the radio crackled to life. The group jumped as static erupted from the speakers, followed by faint, distorted whispers. Leah reached to turn it off, but the whispers grew louder, forming unintelligible words that sounded like a mix of pleading and warning. "Turn it off, Mia!" the youngest of the group screamed. It's not responding!" Leah stammered, her hands trembling as she fumbled with the buttons. Suddenly the car stalled. The engine sputtered and died, leaving them in complete silence save for the whispers that now seemed to come from everywhere. Inside the car, outside in the trees, even from their own minds. Alex, trying to keep calm, suggested they push the car to the side and walk back to town. But as they stepped out, the atmosphere grew suffocating. The whispers turned into low, guttural growls, and the air was thick with the stench of decay. "Guys, do you see that?" Mia whispered, pointing to the woods. Through the trees they saw faint, glowing eyes, hundreds of them, watching silently. The figures they belonged to began to emerge. They were not animals. They were humanoid but grotesque, with elongated limbs, hollow faces, and mouths that opened far too wide. "Get back in the car!" Leah screamed, but it was too late. One of the figures lunged at Alex, dragging him into the trees before anyone could react. His screams echoed and then abruptly stopped. The group ran, abandoning the car, but no matter how far or fast they ran, Whispering Road stretched endlessly before them. One by one the creatures picked them off. Leah was the last. She collapsed in exhaustion, the whispers now forming coherent words. "You should have listened." The next morning the car was found back in town, parked neatly by the roadside. The keys were in the ignition, but Leah and her friends were never seen again. To this day, locals swear they can hear faint whispers when passing Whispering Road at night. A warning to anyone foolish enough to test the legend.